All right. I don't know if this is working or not. Shit. All right, guys. Back before 1980, the ICC, the Interstate Commerce Commission, made sure trucking was fair, stable, and profitable. They set minimum freight rates so no carrier ever hauled a load for a loss. AFFTRA mirrors that by bringing back a $5 per mile minimum rate, not to cap what you make, but to set a floor so nobody gets forced to haul cheap freight ever again. The ICC required standard tariffs, meaning all freight rates were public and consistent. No secret deals, no hidden numbers. AFFTRA does the same thing through mandatory transparency, forcing every broker to disclose what the shipper paid and what the carrier receives so we can see where every dollar goes. The ICC also made sure the industry didn't collapse for too much competition. You had to get approval to start a new carrier. That kept the market balanced and prevented a race to the bottom. This is a huge problem with overseas brokers, overseas work coming over here, cheap labor. The AFFTRA mirrors that stability by protecting smaller carriers with minimum rate laws. Not government control. The market stays open, but it's fair. Now, back then, drivers were represented by the Teamsters. They guaranteed fair pay, benefits, and working conditions through collective bargaining. AFFTRA mirrors that same protection by locking in a $1 per mile minimum driver pay, written into law, not a union contract. It gives drivers the same protection without forcing anyone into a union. This is great because there's a lot of crooked carriers, there's a lot of crooked brokers, and there's all the shippers want to do is get it cheap as they can. So we can't allow them to dictate our rates, guys. So the ICC also stopped predatory pricing, where big carriers tried to undercut smaller ones to take over the market. AFFTRA does that with a 3% broker cap. So no broker or mega carrier can manipulate the numbers and rob the people doing the work. And finally, the ICC enforced accountability. Every carrier and broker had to document everything, and the government could audit them to make sure they were playing fair. AFFTRA mirrors that accountability through full record transparency. The FMCSA and DOT already have the structure. AFFTRA just makes those rules mandatory and enforceable again. The ICC created old order. The Teamsters created unity. After AFTRA brings both back through law, transparency, and fairness. So I just wanted to go over that with you guys. Hope you liked it. Guys, we got to get back to an industry standard. It's vital. We got to quit listening to all these lies from all these carriers, all these brokers, and all these mega carriers and shippers. They desperately want us to stay divided and against each other. That's been the goal of big business throughout history. Divide and conquer. We've got to get over that. They did it from 1935 to 1980, actually until 1975 when Hoffa turned up missing, and then they started dismantling it there, and it was done by 1980 with deregulation. And now we've got what we got now. And I think it shows a good track record of how we had something good where everybody was profitable. There was no turnover. You know, companies had Christmas parties. Nobody was ripping anybody off. Everybody was happy. Families were fed. Everybody was making a profit till we got today where the people you work for don't even want to look you in the eye or even get to know you at all because they know you're just a driver in a seat, and they're going to send you on down the road as soon as you get to be a little more valuable than what they're willing to pay. They want to get the cheapest labor they can in these seats. They want to bring it in from anywhere they can, and they want to make these highways unsafe. How this brokering got allowed outside the country, this shit has got to change. And only way we're doing it, guys, is by banding together. So join the Telegram group. Link's in my bio. Link is also right here. AFFTRA.org. Sign the petition. Join the Telegram. Say hi. Say where you met me. Where you found us at. What platform. Whose video brought you this way. Because this link here, it's not just my link. It's in tons of people's bios. Everybody's opening this group so we can have 200,000 drivers together moving as one. Be a part of this, guys. Be a part of this, guys. Let's stand together. Let's make trucking great again. Only we can do it. We're the only ones that can do it.